What is going on, everybody, and welcome to Before You Buy, where we break down real gameplay and everything you need to know about a new game before you spend your money. Today we are talking about the Relic First Guardian, a dark fantasy Souls-like from a small South Korean team, and it launches in just a few days on July 31st, and I need to be upfront with you because this is the most divided early coverage I have ever gathered for one of these. Some previewers found a passionate hidden gem with genuinely fresh ideas, and others found a game with serious problems 1 month before launch. At $50 with no Game Pass and no PlayStation Plus version, understanding that split is exactly what you need before you spend your money. So let us break down both sides and get you to an honest answer. Let us get into it. Quick disclosure before we dive in, because that is how we do things here. The game is not out yet, and everything in this video is based on the preview build that outlets and creators played about a month before launch, plus the official gameplay deep dives from the developers themselves. That preview build is exactly where the praise and the complaints both come from, and a lot can change with a day one patch, so keep that in mind. One more thing worth knowing, this game already got delayed once from May to July, so the team has been buying time to polish, and as always, we are keeping everything spoiler light. So here's the deal in plain terms. The Relic First Guardian launches digitally on July 31st on PlayStation 5 and PC at $50 on the PlayStation Store. And pay attention here because there is no Game Pass version and no PlayStation Plus deal. So unlike most games we cover, there is no cheap way to just try this one. Xbox and Switch 2 versions are coming later in the year, and a physical PlayStation edition arrives in September. It is single player only. That is the deal. Now let us talk about the game. The premise is genuinely lovely. The world of Arcildus was once prosperous until its great relic was destroyed and the void swallowed the land. You are the last guardian, and the creative director describes you not as a legendary hero, but as a keeper of stories. The relics you collect are memory fragments of the dead, each one carrying someone's regrets, wishes, and unfinished feelings, and piecing them together is both your power system and the story itself. The whole thing is told like an old folktale through fully voiced memories scattered across the world. It is a melancholy Korean folklore-flavored take on dark fantasy, and it is easily the most distinctive thing about this game. The world itself is semi-open, built from interconnected paths rather than one giant map, and it is dotted with little side events, bandit ambushes, someone trapped in a burning building, voiced lore trails that pull you toward hidden areas. It is a world built for wanderers. So how does it actually play? It is a Soulslike, but the combat rules are twisted in some really interesting ways. Your stamina is spent only on defense, on dodging, guarding, and parrying, while your attacks cost nothing, so the game wants you swinging aggressively and saving your resources for the moment a hit is coming back at you. Skills run on cooldowns, and every enemy has its own stamina bar that you break through attacks and parries to trigger a groggy state, which is your big punish window. And here's the twist I love. The bosses play by your rules too, because they can dodge your attacks and even parry you right back, which turns fights into genuine duels instead of memorization tests. The positive previews back this up. One hands-on called the combat weighty and impactful once it clicks, and Dual Shockers came away calling the whole thing a promising Souls-like after 8 hours with it. There is also elemental relic magic on top, including healing, and it stays available no matter how you build, so you are never locked out of your tools. Now, here is the game's biggest swing. There is no experience and no leveling at all. Progression comes entirely from what you find out in the world. Over 70 relic passives, 12 skill trees you unlock with relic energy, 5 weapon types, and a wild detail I really like. Every single weapon and armor piece exists exactly once in the world, each with its own story attached. Exploration literally is your character growth, which fits the whole Keeper of Stories idea perfectly, but I have to give you the flip side because 2 of the more critical previews pointed out the cost of that design. With no experience to earn, regular enemies can start to feel pointless to fight, and dying loses its sting, which drains some of the tension that makes this genre work. Whether that trade is worth it is going to come down to how much you value discovery over grind. And then there is the storytelling, which might be this game's soul. There are around 80 bosses, and each one is written as its own little tragedy of being born from some human regret. The developer showed one called The Prodigal Bound in Dust, a son who abandoned his poor village for treasure and fame, came home to a mother who had already passed and was consumed by that guilt until it bound him in place. You fight what his regret became, and then you find the story he left behind. IGN described the whole approach as an almost playable audiobook, and Game Tyrant said the game is brimming with heart, passion, and design ideas that deserve your attention. If narrative-flavored Souls-likes are your thing, this is the part that will sell you. All right, the rough edges, and this is where I have to be really honest with you, because some of this coverage was harsh. The most critical preview flat out called the current build at best forgettable and at worst frustrating. The specific complaints matter here: a heavy vignette effect and constant camera shake that could not be turned off in the preview build, making fights genuinely hard to read, attack combos that felt long and unresponsive, a dodge that travels so far it can accidentally reset a fight, and parry timings that felt inconsistent from enemy to enemy. And before you write that off as one grumpy reviewer, even the positive DualShockers preview flagged boss fights where the camera pinned them against walls and attacks lacked clear telegraphs. Add reports of performance struggles on lower NPCs, voice acting that one outlet praised and another trashed, and the fact that this is a small team polishing right up against launch. And you can see why I called this coverage divided. The day one patch is the great unknown here. So who is this actually for? If you are the kind of player who hunts AA hidden gems, who fell for games like Lies of P before the world caught on, and who will forgive some jank when the ideas and the atmosphere are this distinctive, this is absolutely one to watch and possibly one to love. If you mostly play polished, big budget Souls-likes, or you have zero patience for camera problems and rough edges at launch, the smart version of you waits on this one. And if you are a story-first player who loved the sound of those 80 little tragedies, you might get something here that no other Souls-like this year will give you. But there is no subscription escape hatch this time. It is $50 or nothing, and that changes the math. So here is my honest bottom line. No score, just a straight answer. This is the first one of these where my main advice is simply wait 3 days. The game launches July 31st with no early access, which means full reviews of the actual launch build, with or without a day one patch, land within days. If the vignette, the camera, and the responsiveness got fixed, this could genuinely be the hidden gem half these previews saw, and you can buy it that same week knowing for sure. If they did not get fixed, you just saved yourself $50. The only people I would tell to buy day one are the true AA Souls-like sickos who want to support a tiny team swinging this big and who know exactly what they are signing up for. And remember, if you are a physical collector, the boxed PlayStation 5 edition does not arrive until September anyway, so waiting costs you nothing. Everyone else, the reviews are days away. Let them do the testing for you. But that is a before you buy on the Relic First Guardian. You know how this goes. I gave you some pros, some cons, and my honest take, and now I want to hear yours. Down in the comments, are you rolling the dice day one or waiting for the launch reviews like I suggested? Does the no leveling relic-based progression excite you or worry you? And which of those 80 tragic bosses are you most curious about? Hitting that like button legitimately helps the channel. And if you are new here, subscribe so you do not miss the next one of these. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.